Again, as always, thank you for coming out. This is really loud. And, it's good to win football games. It's bad to lose games, so it was good to win. I thought from a perspective as a team, I thought we played as well as we have to this point for the first quarter and, 3 quarters. And then I think we struggled a little bit for one reason or another from an offensive standpoint. Can't turn the ball over 4 times. That does nothing for you as a team. And I thought defensively they hung in there and they played hard. I thought our front played probably their best football to this point of the year. It's got to get much better as we get into Big Ten play. And offensively, we 3 and outs or turnovers in the third quarter, time possession affects you as a football team in a lot of ways, and momentum and all those things. So we've got to do a much better job of executing, being more consistent, blocking at the line of scrimmage. And so we've got a lot of work ahead of us. I thought in the kicking game, I thought Mount Wild did a nice job punting the football. And I thought in his kickoffs, he really placed the ball well. He had one kickoff that was in the middle of the field, but everything else I thought he did a tremendous job. And that was a good sign, as a guy who's maturing as a freshman.
Brady, is Will's suspension over, and does he have to compete to get his job back, or do you expect him to punt?
Well, they'll compete. I mean, we're going to compete in everything we do. And, I think that's an important part of your development as a program. And I think that's how you improve as a program. So they'll compete during the week.
Brady, Cam's injury, he sat out again. At this point, is it more conditioning or the injury lingering? And
well, I think he's just not 100% yet. I think he would have, he's just not where he needs to be yet.
Brady, you're 13 for 13 in the red zone this year. What's been the constant? Once you get into that zone, that's been the success there.
Well, I don't know if there's a magical answer. I mean, I think. Part of it is always you got some pretty good luck, things are going well. But I think we're blocking it decent. I think the different options that, Al presents to some degree within the offense, it makes it a little tougher to defend.
Brady, you had said after the game that on Denard's throws you were going to look at the tape and see if it was not all him. Did you see more of other people
it's definitely not all him. I mean, we route running. We blew 2 routes. We didn't convert on another route, and that's part of it. And he's got he's got a lot of pride, and he's going to also help himself with some of the technical and technique fundamental parts of. Being a little more patient with his feet and doing a good job with that.
Brady, scoring 14 points in the first quarter, obviously holding them without it. You had a couple days to think about it. What led to the strong start this week, and how do you replicate it going forward?
It'd be great to replicate it every week. I think we had a great week of practice. I think our preparation was good. I think from a defensive standpoint, they really did a nice job of preparation. I thought Greg did a nice job with the plan, and I thought Al did too.
Brady, first thing is, how's Troy's ankle again?
He ran last night, did everything we normally do.
And with him, because he's been so hurt between the ankles and the hand, is there a point where it gets to maybe a point of diminishing returns with playing him as much because he's clearly not 100%?
I don't think so. I think, I haven't seen that yet from a coach's perspective. I mean, I think he's being physical, which is always one of the first things when guys are a little beat up, you worry about. But I think he's being physical. I think he's doing a nice job of breaking on balls. Fundamentally and with his techniques, he's been pretty good. So I don't think so.
You guys broke out the option a couple times. Was that a result of anything you saw Army do against?
No, we've worked that since spring. I mean, we've run that against each other, and it was really because if they're going to play a lot of man coverage, which we thought they would, it's a way to really back people off from man coverage. Because if you've got your pitch man and whoever's going to take the quarterback, all those things, when you're going to play man and you're going blitz, you got to be right.
Brady, obviously starting up the Big Ten, it looks like there isn't an unbeatable Big Ten team. Can you just assess what you've seen in the league so far and what you tell your guys about the chances of competing?
I haven't seen a lot, to be honest with you. You know, we pretty much put the blinders on with what we got to do, John, and that's the truth. You know, it's a great league. It's a competitive league, and it has been. And you know, this is an important game because it is a league game, and our expectations as a program. And then I would say the other part is, you know, that brown jug is pretty important to us, and we'd like to keep it here in Ann Arbor.
You spoke a little bit about the brown jug just there. You know, this is your first rivalry trophy in Ann Arbor. Do you do anything special with the team, or are you going to talk about the history of the trophy at all?
We have. We did last night. You know, it's one of those important traditions, you know, when you're involved with the University of Michigan football team. And we talked about the history. We talked about, you know, it's the oldest trophy when you look at trophy games in the history of college football. And it was the first. And, you know, it means an awful lot. And we want to keep it in Ann Arbor.
Brady, can you talk about how being at home for 5 straight games has helped you and how odd it's felt that you haven't had to leave Ann Arbor at all to do your job?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's helped. You know, it's always good to play in this great stadium and, you know, with the passionate fans that we have, Larry. I don't know if I don't know if it's that much different, you know. I mean, and that doesn't sound quite right. But being at home is great. Has it helped us as a team? Maybe, you know, youth-wise and all that. But, you know, we like playing here.
Brady, do you know Coach Kill very well, and can you address the situation they have with the unsettledness?
Well, Jerry and I, you know, obviously competed against each other at the MAC level, and him and his wife Rebecca are two of the finest people you'll ever be around. And you know, our prayers for him and his family are there, and they're great. He's a great person. And a terrific coach.
Brady, can you talk about what you've seen out of Jeremy Gallon so far as a punt returner? And in addition, just his playmaking, how good it is to see him just catch every ball, how confident you guys are that he's going to catch everything?
Well, you know, he's very consistent. You know, he does it all in practice and all that kind of stuff, and he's real consistent. I think he has a nice feel for it, hand-eye coordination, all those things that go along with it. But you know, we're real comfortable with him being back there. We're about a block away from springing him again for, you know, a decent return, and I think that all will happen. You know, I think that punt return unit really worked their tails off last week, and it showed in where we were at as far as having things set up for him.
To follow up on the question about the home games, how difficult is it to get a true read on where your team is right now when you haven't gone and played on the road yet?
I don't think we'll find that out until we get there. I mean, until we, you know, leave Ann Arbor, then we'll find out where we're at.
Following on that again, even, have you ever had a season where you started 5 in a row at home, considering where I guess you've been even as an assistant?
No, this is unusual.
Brady. Take me back to spring or fall camp, the linebackers then as opposed to now. Do you like what you've seen out of them?
Well, I think we need to play better there. I think Jake's improved a lot since spring, but I don't think we're playing near as well as we need to at that position. You know, I think Kenny gives you some great leadership and does a pretty good job playing downhill. I think Hawthorne's come on. You know, he missed some fall camp because of an ankle, which set him back. Desmond Morgan is a guy who I think has a very bright future, and you know, we really, I think we were better a week ago, but I think we've got a long way to go at that position.
You seem to really challenge your defensive line a lot. Do you feel like they're taking that to heart and are responding to that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think they have a lot of personal pride and ownership of who they are. So, you know, when you have guys who have that kind of pride, you know, their expectations and our expectations kind of meet, and you know, you get a little better. So I think we're making some progress. I had Mike and Ryan played their best games of the year to this point. Was it good enough? No, because we got to play a lot better.
Mike Martin said you guys had a great week of practice, and that's what helped get to such a strong start. How much of that is them finally kind of understanding what you guys want from them in practice?
Well, I think that's always a transition you go through. You know, how hard we want to practice, how physical we want to practice, how demanding we are from a fundamental and technique standpoint. You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, that we have demands of them. And so I think that and their personal pride helps.
You talk about Ricky Barnum's status.
We'll see. I mean, he you know, twisted an ankle up and, you know, went back in the football game. He's sore.
How do you feel about the status of your backup quarterbacks if Denard had to come out for a series or more?
You know, I feel pretty good about Devin. You know, I think we all do. I think Al does too. I think, you know, he's had a very good fall camp, and I think he's had, to this point, you know, he's conditioned himself and prepared himself to play. And that's what that guy has to do, you know. And I think that, you know, he's talented and gifted and is smart and can do a good job running the offense.